Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. This Chicago Fire star has us doubting that Herrmann will ever become 51 chief. Christopher Herrmann, David Eigenberg, was the chosen one. He was the veteran who was pegged by Wallace Bowden, Herrmann Walker, to replace him as chief in Chicago Fire's Season 12 final. It made sense on paper. Herrmann is a good worker, well-liked by all, and he knows what it means to put one's life on the line on a regular basis. Herrmann didn't have the credentials or the know-how when the Bowden conversation occurred, hence the arrival of Chief Dom Pascal, Dermot Mulroney. But it seemed like it was only a matter of time until he put the pieces together and showed himself to be ready for this increased responsibility. Or so we thought, because as of right now, we doubt Herrmann will ever lead Firehouse 51. Herrmann Walker recently spoke to TV Line about his upcoming return, and he gave some fascinating insight into the relationship between Bowden and Herrmann. He acknowledges that Bowden wanted his friend to take over as chief, but points out that he may have been wrong in assessing how interested Herrmann was in the job. Walker told the outlet that his character picks up on the feeling that Herrmann doesn't want to lead 51 in the episode post-mortem. There's a realization that the veteran firefighter might be scared of the responsibility that comes with being chief, and this will bring about some uncomfortable talks. There's no resolve to it because growth is painful, and you don't just one day pass an exam and all of a sudden you know how to do the job, Walker explained. No, now you've got the paperwork, and now you have to discover what the job is. There's a learning curve. Interestingly, Walker makes reference to both Herrmann and Mouch, Christian Stolt, another vet who recently passed an exam. Mouch, similar to his best friend Herrmann, has struggled to balance his comfortability with the responsibilities and sacrifices that come with a promotion. It seems neither man wants to enact major change at this point in their career, which is something Bowden recognizes, but that doesn't mean he's given up on these two. Bowden knows both Herrmann and Mouch will have to go on their learning curve to make up their mind about who and what they really are, Walker asserted. He also pointed out the ways in which post-mortem will further shake Herrmann and Mouch up, given the repercussions that will result from a tragic incident. You have their lives in your hands, and anything you say, you make one mistake, which is what's happened in this episode, the actor explained. A person dies, that's pretty heavy. Not everybody wants that. Herrmann can always turn things around and realize that he wants to become a leader moving forward, but as it stands, he's not putting any pressure on Pascal. For over a decade, Chicago Fire fans have grown to adore Christopher Herrmann, the rough-around-the-edges but good-hearted firefighter played by David Eigenberg. With his biting sarcasm, dad jokes, and unwavering loyalty to Firehouse 51, Herrmann has often felt like the moral glue holding the team together, even when chaos reigned, and while his years of service and deep well of experience have often positioned him as a natural leader, a recent shift in the Chicago Fire universe has many of us wondering, will Herrmann ever get his shot at becoming chief? Let's be real. Herrmann has always been the underdog. He's not flashy. He's not chasing glory. He's a guy who does the work, then heads to Molly's to pour a beer, complain about his kids, and maybe break up a bar fight. But somewhere in between the wisecracks and the gruff exterior, Herrmann has emerged as a deeply respected leader, often stepping in to mentor younger firefighters, smooth over internal conflicts, and let's face it, save the day when others drop the ball. So naturally, when Chief Bowden started eyeing retirement and whispers of promotions filled the air, Herrmann seemed like a no-brainer. But recently, that possibility has started to feel more like a dream deferred, thanks to the rise of a new character who's quietly stealing the spotlight, Captain Darnell Simmons, played with smoldering confidence and strategic brilliance by new cast member Julian Webb. Captain Simmons transferred to 51 from a prestigious downtown unit, and ever since his arrival, he's been making waves. Simmons is polished, politically savvy, and brings a refreshing blend of discipline and innovation. He's already implemented new training protocols, boosted morale among rookies, and earned serious praise from upper brass. While Herrmann is still very much the soul of 51, Simmons is rapidly becoming its brain, and the kind of candidate that command offices in Springfield love to promote. It's not that Simmons is doing anything wrong. Quite the opposite, actually. He's too good, too perfect, and that perfection is making Herrmann, who leads more with grit and gut than finesse, look like yesterday's news. Herrmann's recent storylines have also started to hint at a growing internal conflict. A few episodes back, we saw him miss a critical training seminar in order to help a veteran firefighter battling PTSD. It was classic Herrmann, heart over protocol. But the fallout wasn't small. Chief Bowden had to cover for him, and Simmons ended up leading the seminar with such poise that even hardened skeptics were impressed. In a quiet moment with Cruz later that night, Herrmann admitted something we never thought we'd hear him say. "Maybe I'm not cut out to be chief." It was brushed off with a laugh and a beer, but fans noticed. The seeds of doubt were planted. Off camera, David Eigenberg has also hinted in interviews that his character might not be on the trajectory fans expect. Herrmann's not a politician, he said in a recent podcast. He cares more about people than he does about titles. That's what makes him great, but also what might hold him back. And let's not ignore the symbolism. The show's writers are no strangers to foreshadowing, and in a recent episode, Herrmann found an old, dusty box in the firehouse storage room filled with Chief Bowden's mementos. As he held a weathered plaque with Bowden's name engraved on it, there was a long, pensive pause. No music, no quip. Just Herrmann looking at something he might never have. A silent moment that said everything. Meanwhile, Captain Simmons is building alliances. He's taken Gallo under his wing, won Ritter's respect, and even managed to charm Mouch with a passionate monologue about honoring fallen first responders. These aren't just plot developments. They're chess moves. Simmons is positioning himself as the next great leader of 51, and the pieces are falling into place. Of course, there's still a lot of love for Herrmann. If the fans had their way, he'd be promoted tomorrow and we'd all cry over a montage of his best moments. Laughing with Otis, clinking glasses at Molly's, comforting Cindy during her cancer scare. But Chicago Fire has never been a show that caters to comfort. It thrives on messy truths, on heartbreak and the slow burn of dreams unrealized. The truth is, not every hero gets a promotion. Some just keep doing the work, day after day, without medals or titles, and Herrmann, for all his gruff charm and unfiltered rants, might just be that kind of hero. Still, there's something quietly heartbreaking about watching him be passed over, not because he's unqualified, but because the game has changed. Firehouse 51 is evolving, and as much as it pains us to admit it, maybe there's no room at the top for an old-school guy who never learned how to play politics. But don't count Herrmann out just yet. If there's one thing he's proven time and time again, it's that heart matters. And while Simmons might be the star rising fast, Herrmann is the fire that keeps 51 burning steady. So whether or not he ever becomes chief, he'll always be the leader fans believe in, even if the brass doesn't. For now though, the chief's office door remains closed, and every time Herrmann walks past it, we can't help but wonder if it'll ever open for him, or if he's already where he's meant to be.